is creating a crisis of legitimacy at home.
Well, good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? What is it today? I hope you're well. Here it's cold. I took my walk. It's cold out, but I like getting a walk. It wakes me up anyway. Oh, I redid my NFL with my last five. And there's some teams doesn't change. Some teams there's big changes. And one of them is the Jacksonville last five's an A team, but I got to just double check who they played just to make sure. I mean, if they play New Orleans and Miami, it really doesn't. It's an A team against those teams, and here they get Indy. Now, Indy's schedule got harder. They started losing. So I think the league's becoming, if you play the weak teams, you look better than you are. And if you play the strong teams, you look worse than you are, like Kansas City. I updated my teaser trends. Really, I just put in the last week and it read totals, and I'll go from there. Real quick, our gold, 42.25. So it was down 4 or 5 o'clock. Europe has China got it to 42.20, and then it shoots up at about 8 o'clock, and then we get our little 10 to 10 up to 42.40, so the U.S. can do a short down to 42.12, and that's what they're doing. It goes up, so they short it, and when it goes down a lot, they buy it, and then there they go, they buy it at 42.12, and as I explained yesterday, so if you bought 1,000 shares of Newmont Mining, let's say it was at $40, 10 o'clock hits, it goes from 42.40 down to 42.12. It starts going up. You buy it at 42.14. It's now 42.26. So you just made 12 cents times 1,000. You just made $120. But we're a little greedy, so we're going to hold on to it a little bit longer before we take our profit for the day. And as long as it's profit, you can't make $1 million in 5 minutes. But if you just keep doing this, and then the reason now, so I got out of that to buy physical because the gold stocks were getting crushed, and I would get in and then they would go down and then not come back up to where I needed to. So the pattern pretty much worked, except there'd be a few exceptions. And then, but physical, I mean, we're in it at 1,800, and now it's 42. We are not profit taking our physical. We are not selling our physical to get back into monopoly money. We're not doing that. That's not the point of this. The point is to buy as much silver and gold as you have dollars to trade for it, and then just hold on and watch it go up, and off we go. I mean, that's it. Silver 58.61. So it was pushing at 54. It was pushing at 55. Let's look at the silver chart. And you can see similar. China's got it at 58.77. But look at this drop. It drops $1 to 56.67. But then here it comes back up. And then it goes all the way back to almost 59. And then it takes the little 10 o'clock drop from 58.77 to 58.30, and that they're buying it. So you can do the same with the silver stock. Watch the drop, but gold's much better. It reacts much differently. Anyway, so that's what's going on here. Just keep buying it and buying and buying, and eventually the market wins. You cannot price fix. You can price fix in a small market, like in Detroit. You can maybe price fix it. But I mean, they even do that too, right? They have cigarette taxes, right? But only in Detroit and Michigan, but not in Ohio. Everybody would drive across the border to Ohio. It's an hour away, and you'd fill up your car with cigarettes and drive back. I mean, there's always, as long as there's competition, ways to get around it. And again, keep in mind, this is global gold and silver. This is Russia and China. This isn't just JP Morgan fucking around, because Russia and China doesn't want it to go down. So they keep pushing in. China with 80,000 tons. Who knows? They probably got more. Putin, has got a swimming pool full, probably 20,000 tons minimum. And again, how do you know what he really has? He's not running around, hey, now I got 20. He's got a little counter outside. Yeah, now it's 25,000 tons. I don't think he's doing that. Greg and John, good morning. TK, is YouTube paying you now? No, not yet. I get your tips is all I got, but you need a lot of subscribers and a lot of views. It's bullshit. So I don't really do it, but I don't really understand all of it technically. So I just kind of, I was hoping I understand the subscriptions. I'll have to look into that, or Substract, Alligator Substracts, and maybe I can do that and get subscriptions on that, whatever that is, and do it that way. But I'm mixed about charging for subscriptions, because I want you guys to learn gold and silver. And in football, I charge if you want my picks. So it's kind of, I'm used to doing it this way. But yeah, I agree. I should be getting paid, especially for the economics. I mean, the point would be, if you had a chance to take an Austrian economic class at school, you'd pay $1,000 and take the class. So that's something that is normal marketplace. So I'll have to look into that. I think they pay you to show ads. Maybe, but I thought they were doing ads. I thought they're the ones who put the ads on. I don't know how to put ads on. So I don't know. I don't know enough about it, and there's really no good documentation or help, or, like, how do I do it and that. And I don't think I have a big enough. I think that you need a couple thousand subscribers and views. I don't get those 10,000 views that Mark McGuire gets. I don't really know why, but it's just people don't know me. That's why I did that Connecticut TV podcast, to try to get more exposure. So we'll see. Morning, Ryan. How are you? TK's KC going to the playoffs. They need to stop losing. Well, they play such tough games. I mean, I think they are. I think they're the best team, but with such a hard schedule and going to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, it does tire you out. You can't just go 10 years in a row to the Super Bowl. And as we know, Mahomes goes to the conference championship game every year. The one year he lost to Cincinnati, and then he goes to the Super Bowl 4 or 5 times. So yeah, only Joe Burrow can beat him. It wears you out. Then they have offensive line issues. They have really good defense with Spagnuolo. That's why they don't pay. See, the Lions are totally fucked. They totally don't understand it. KC pays Mahomes. The Lions pay Golf. Pretty similar for some reason, which I can't. They way overpaid for Golf. But then they pay the running back $20 million, and they pay the receiver $20 million, and the other receiver $20 million, and the right tackle $20 million, and Hutchinson, who's not very good right now, another $20 million. What KC does is they pay Mahomes. They don't really pay the receivers or the running back much. Kelsey, maybe they pay him a little bit. And then on defense, they pay the defensive lineman probably the $20 million. And then all these other guys, they come in, and they're smart enough to draft guys that fit Spagnuolo's system, and they're fine, because there's plenty of cornerback safeties, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia. So it's not hard to draft those guys, and some linebackers and your defensive linemen. So they kind of do that, where they really don't have that big payroll. That's what New England used to do with Brady. It was Brady and anybody, when Seymour, they let him go. He wanted $30 million. That we don't do that here. We keep it small and bring in players and we win because of Brady. So that's what Mahomes does. So the Lions are fucked because they're paying way too much for wrong position. Right tackle, you don't pay a lot to. The running back, 2 receivers, and then you got no defense. And then you get injuries, and now you're really fucked. So I think KC's struggling with the injuries to the offensive line, and they have the hardest schedule in the league. They've already played Philadelphia, Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit, Denver. They'll play twice. San Diego, they play twice. Their only break is Oakland twice. So it's a tough schedule. I mean, look at this week. They get Houston. I mean, thanks for no thanks. They're going to struggle offensively, but defensively they should be okay. Stroud sucks. But, so again, another tough game. Every week, you just can't get up every week. They lost to Dallas. That was a tough loss. Dallas just beat Philly and Kansas City, the Super Bowl teams. Very interesting. Like I said, I wouldn't take Dallas this week if they had played on Sunday and then the 4-day turnaround. But they played Thursday, and so they've had a week to get ready. So, yeah. St. Thomas, I think, is injured. He's questionable if he'll play. I'm not really sure if he does. If he's questionable or game time decision means he's going to take the needle. That's the game time decision. Is he going to take the needle or not? But then you question how good is he going to play anyway. And Dallas has that strong defensive line. So will KC make the playoffs? I think they will. Again, these teams are only 1 game up on them. Look at Jacksonville. They get Indy. They lose that game and KC wins and they're ahead of, so that's the way it is. It's at the end of the day, when the money's on the line and the teams start choking, San Diego and Jacksonville, these teams ahead of them, they're only ahead of them by a game. And I think KC at this point will make the playoffs. As long as Mahomes healthy, I think they will. I don't like when I sometimes turn on this BetMGM network in the radio in the car when I'm driving to the pool or something. And all they do is talk about, MVP, Coach of the Year, this and that. Stay away from that. That's all bullshit. Do not bet those. You have no idea who's going to win, how it's determined. Just stick with the games on the field where they do that. That's really the key, right? Stick with that and don't fuck around with even these other player props. I mean, who the hell does? All I can tell you on player props is if you're playing a Denver go under or a Philly defense or something, and if you're playing against some weak defenses like if you're playing against Cincinnati, probably go over like Buffalo. They'll have a big day offensively. But I never bet those. I just stick with teasers, and I'm very good at it. So that's it. All right. We'll check in with our buddies at Gold and Silver later. All right. Let's look at weather. Dallas, Detroit's tomorrow. And again, it doesn't matter. They're in a dome. Ooh, it's going to be 15 degrees here. Oof, so cold. Seattle, Atlanta in a dome. Tennessee, Cleveland. It's 32 degrees, which is fairly warm. Chance of snow showers, small winds. So the weather's not going to be a factor in this game. Problem's going to be Cam Ward and Prime Jr. The problem then is they make the line 34. I mean, it's just such a low line, a low total. It's hard. But again, do we think either team's really going to get more than 14 points? Probably not. Cleveland with the strong defense. We'll see. Ryan, you retracted. Okay. Greg and John, what podcast were you on? I did one. It was on Connecticut TV or something. I posted it on my LinkedIn, I believe. Um, I don't know how to post it here, but it's basically me talking, how I analyze football games, Austrian economics, inflation, what's gold. It's not a lot that you didn't know, but it is out there. Um, they gave me I don't know how to put the link up here, but I'll try to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be a half hour. I tucked it into 45 minutes. And the guys just, so what is inflation and what is gold and how do you pick football and stuff like that. So it was me explaining myself, but it was good. Try to get the exposure and things like that. I have noticed I've got a lot of subscriptions lately, and I've had new people come in that I've never heard of before. So maybe it's working. It takes time. But when the shit hits the fan and everybody goes broke except for us, then they'll understand me because I explain the inflation and the gold, what it really is, money printing, not prices, and that helps. All right. So not much in Cleveland. Minnesota, you're in the dome. Miami at the JETS's, 35 and cloudy and low winds. So they're at this point, no weather to worry about. New Orleans goes to Tampa, 74 and chance of showers, 6-mile-an-hour winds in Tampa. Bobby will be there. Indy, Jacksonville, 64 in Jacksonville, chance of showers, 9-mile-an-hour. Pitt at Baltimore, 42 degrees in Baltimore. How can there be a chance of snow at 42? There's no snow at 42. It's got to be under 32. 9-mile-an-hour winds. Cincy at Buffalo, 25 degrees in Buffalo, chance of snow shower, 7 miles an hour. So what do we do here? We like the game over. We got 25-mile-an-hour, 25 degrees, and chance of snow, but it's at 1 o'clock, so it should be fairly warm. I don't think the wind will bother us, and I don't, since he's played in cold weather, Buffalo plays in it, so I think we still go over in the game. Denver at Oakland in the Dome. Green Bay, Chicago, 13 degrees, slight chance of snow, 6-mile-an-hour wind. So there's no wind. It's just fucking cold. Well, Green Bay lives there, so not a problem. And then the Bears live in the cold, too. So it really shouldn't be a problem, but I think we'll see more running than passing because of, it's hard to throw and catch when it's really cold out. So that's probably going to hurt both teams' offense, turn it into a more Army-Navy game. This line is Green Bay 6.5, 44.5. So initially I like it over, but I don't know with 13. See, here's where the weather starts messing us up a little bit. And then we got the Rams go to Arizona in a dome, Houston at KC, 30 degrees and small winds. So the wind's not going to be a factor. 30 degrees won't be a factor. That'll be good. Philly goes to San Diego in a dome, and that's Monday night. So really, the only real factor is Green Bay with 13 degrees. Otherwise, there's not big winds. We'll keep an eye on this. Today is Wednesday. Hopefully they've updated it. All right, let's go through our games. So we'll go through the pros, and then we'll look at the college. There's just, I think, 10 college games. So Detroit's still 354.5. Just keeps going up. So I think they think St. Thomas is going to play. And I'll tell you, I don't think this is an over game anymore. Watching Dallas's defense with Kansas City and with Philadelphia, they played Philly 45 and they played Kansas City to, I think it was a 40. What was that score with KC last week? 31-28. Dallas scored. So that was a 59. Yeah, it could be over. I guess they're assuming St. Thomas is going to play. So I'm just going to write in the quarterbacks. Dak against Golf. Dallas is 8-2 as a road dog. Detroit doesn't have any meaningful trends anymore. So we'll see. Let's see. Well, I think we won't know about St. Thomas until probably tomorrow, but let's see if there's any news on him. It's so stupid it's on Amazon, but I imagine in Detroit it'll be on. So let's see. Now remember, the Lions already have Laporta, their tight end, out. Their left guard is out. A lot of injuries to guys I've never heard of. Taylor Decker, the left tackle, is questionable with the shoulder. The right tackle is questionable with an ankle, but they'll both play. I'm on St. Thomas, questionable with an ankle is all it gives me, which I assume that means he's, well, I don't know. Penny Sewell is questionable with the shoulder. I'm sure he'll play. Graham Glasgow, who's playing center, is questionable with any. They're pretty banged up, but we don't have anything. But when we look at last five, I haven't think they pretty much the same fences as before, 28 and a 25. Well, actually, these are the last five I think I put in there. So Dallas was an over team last five, and Detroit is an over team last five, a 25 defense in a Dallas with the 28 defense, again playing Philly and then giving up 28 to Kansas City last week. So they have a good defense, Dallas. Where Detroit's got a lot of injuries. Their offensive line, I think, I don't know how high scoring it'll be, but that over 54 is getting a little bit too high. Let's give the free. Here's the free play. I'm just gonna go Dallas plus 9, and that's your free play. Because I don't know about the over under, but I do know that Detroit's got just general offensive line problems. They're all injured. A couple of them might play, but even the new center and the two new guards stink anyway. And Dallas, what they showed you against Kansas City and beating Kansas City and beating Philadelphia, I think Dallas is playing very good. Detroit should have lost to the Giants, got killed by Green Bay, just ate them apart with their passing game. And, Detroit will get a few of their fake plays and their gadget plays because they're not good enough to just run it down your throat anymore. You just don't have the offensive line. I just don't see them blowing out Dallas. Just think about it. You get Dallas and 9. You think you're going to lose that? Mm-mm. So your free play, take Dallas plus the 9. I think Dallas wins the game straight out. As far as over under, it's a high number now. If it was like 49, I'd go over, but at 54, now I got to get 48 And you think in terms of touchdowns. I need 7 touchdowns. I don't know where I'm going to find 7 touchdowns in this game. I don't think Detroit's just going to go and do what they do and run and do these fake plays and hit Jamison Wilson and the golf and the running back's going to run for 5 touchdowns. I that's against the Giants, but no. Okay, Dallas does have a 28 defense, but I think it's better than that. Is that what I came up with? And it must be what I came up with in the last 5. Because I tried to write. I did this. So I take the 5 and I just divide it by 5. Yeah, see, here's the skew problem. Denver scored 44 on them 5 weeks ago. But if you take that away, it's 27, 16, 21, 28. So it's still roughly close to a 28. But again, that was 28 to KC, 21 to Philly, but 27 to Arizona, and they lost that game. So it really gets confusing with them. They lose to Denver 44-24. That's not confusing, but losing to Arizona 27-17 is confusing. They lost at the Bears is confusing. So that's the problem. And then, okay, they beat Oakland's nothing, but beating Philly and KC, it's like, okay, now they're playing. So that's where you're at. Detroit, on the other hand, they gave up 27 points to J.J. McCarthy, 22 to Mariota, 16 to Philly, who can't score, 27 to Winston, and then 31 last week. So they're definitely, their 25 is about right. And Detroit, they put up 44 on Washington, 34 on the Giants, and then 9 on Philly, 24 against Green Bay and Minnesota. So they'll score. I'm not sure I'm loving Dan Campbell as the offensive coordinator. I don't really buy that. So he's basically fucked up with his new coordinators. So basically the new offensive coordinator is the tall boy. The defensive coordinator can't stop the wind. So really bad hires. But that's the problem. When you have good coordinators and they leave, now you got to replace them. It's not that easy. That's why if I was the Lions, I would have given my coordinators bigger money to stay, like Spagnuolo at Kansas City. Now, he's already been a coach. And I said, look, just be the defensive coordinator here. You got Mahomes. We'll go win a bunch of Super Bowls, and you could just be the defensive coordinator for 5 years. And that's, I think more teams need to, when you find that good offensive defensive coordinator, just pay them more and keep them, because you can see there's not that many around anyway. And the Lions have 2 bad ones. And even Campbell calling plays, I'm not buying that. It was 4th down bullshit. All right, sorry about that. Baltimore 6, 42.5, down from 44. I'll call it 43. Pitt, the under team with the 22 defense. Baltimore, the B team with the 17. Joe Burrow ate them alive, but they had played weak. They'd played the Jets in Miami and, weak teams giving up not a lot of points after Lamar came back. There was a few really terrible plays that looked fixed last week. Lamar throws the ball into the ground. He's got 2 guys wide open. The guy going to score a touchdown and drops the ball, doesn't have the ball in. I guess he was reaching out for the goal line. I don't know why. And so that's that. Did I send Terry my picture? Just a second. So anyway, there was a few. There's this YouTube thing that like the top 10 scripted plays that are like phony baloney, that you look at them and go, like, guys just missing tackles on purpose, guys fumbling, or Lamar throwing the ball into the ground, or just letting go of the ball with guys wide open, and you're just like, Yeah, guy misses a tail. Guy's about to sack Lamar, and he just all of a sudden he veers off. It's like, okay, don't know what's going on. And we know the league's got problems, but we still won the over, and we still, and Joe Burrow still beat the shit out of him. Anyway, this game, I don't know. It's a pretty lousy game. I mean, both teams are playing really bad, so I don't know. Indy goes to Jacksonville. Indy 1.5, 47.5. I want to look at. I got Jacksonville as an A team now with the 20 defense, and Indy an E team with the 22. Now we know Indy's played the Rams and some stronger competition, Kansas City. But let's see who Jacksonville played before I call them an A. It's got to be. It's an A, but who are they playing? So Indy, the last five, or Jacksonville, the last five. Oakland, okay, they lost to Houston. They beat San Diego. They beat Arizona and Tennessee. So in two of their five was Oakland and Tennessee. And they did play Houston and San Diego. They played Houston close, and San Diego they beat 35-6. And Arizona, who's somewhere in the middle. So we could call it an A team. I mean, they gave up 6 points to San Diego, 3 to Tennessee, 36 to Houston, and 29 to Oakland. So it's a mind fuck, definitely. So Jacksonville is an A with the 20 defense. Indy an E with the 22. Okay. New Orleans, Tampa. Tampa 8.5, 42.5. I knew those some A's. Baker's playing with an injured shoulder. Kamara didn't play last week. I don't know if he's going to play this week. Maybe. Like it matters. Tampa, pretty decent defense, and they got the Baker, and they got him back in Mbuka, and I don't know if Evans is back or not. I don't think the Godwin, but receivers they're okay with. They did pull out the win last week against Arizona. Arizona's not bad. They're not good, but they're kind of middle of the road. So it's not like they struggled with, Atlanta or Carolina or some, the Jets or something. So here they got New Orleans again. It's hard to believe New Orleans can really pound Tampa. So Tampa here. So again, New Orleans is a Z team with the 21 defense, but they really don't score. But that's what the Z tells us. And Tampa is an even team with the 26, so they kind of aren't scoring as much, but that could have been the scheduling. So it's so weird now because you got to look at the schedule. Are they here like the New Orleans game? Well, they should win by 20 because it's New Orleans who I would take Alabama and Georgia over New Orleans at this point. Miami against the JETSs. Miami 341.5. I got Miami as an under team. They're not scoring, and their defense is playing better. 17 defense, and the JETSs are getting to be over team. Tyrod Taylor, look at last week, with the 27 defense. They played a couple of games. They've started to score. When I look at last five, it's so skewy because they'll play a 44-40 game, and then they'll play a 10-7 game, and you're basically averaging it up, but you're trying to see who do they play, how do they do against the better teams here? Miami sucks. Miami is a weak favorite. I don't know how they're favored. Again, no Tyreek Hill. Acne's the running back who's getting the action. The Jets, they'll play defense with that defensive coordinator, although it's a 27 defense. But and the weather shouldn't be too bad. Washington goes to mini 242. How the hell can JJ McCarthy be 2-point favorite over anybody? I believe he's back. Now there's talk Daniels might be back for this game. We will have to wait, at least till probably Saturday. Washington's a very live dog anyway, even if he's not back. Mariota does okay. Washington's got a problem defensively, 31. Minnesota gives up 24. They're both W teams. Now, here's Minnie doesn't score. They have no quarterback. And they got a pretty good defense in Jefferson. And Washington, Mariota, they seem to move the ball. They got that running back who does a lot, and some receivers, even though we've never heard of them. So they're a live dog here. Now, if we get Daniels back, if as soon as we hear that and we're still getting Minnesota -2, we jump on Washington and 8. As soon as you hear it, before they change the line to Washington, the 3-point favorite with Daniels. So keep that in mind. Tennessee, Cleveland, 433.5. It's just such a low. This is like the first 1 to 10 wins the game. If either of them can get to 10, Prime Junior, just what can you say? And Tennessee, Cam Ward is just as bad. Two bad quarterbacks, which leads to an under, but they're already at 34. Now the weather in this game is 32 degrees. It's not like last week with a lot of wind and a lot of snow and everything. So don't know what to say here, but we know had a really killer defense with Myles Garrett. Tennessee, sometimes they have a good defense. So the Prime Junior cannot be favored in any game he plays in. Okay. So Cleveland -4, you cannot take Cleveland. As bad as Tennessee is. Tennessee with a 28 defense. Cleveland, as good as they are, have a 24 defense. So at Cleveland, it's just you can't rely on Prime Junior. So I would say this is an under, but it's like Iowa, 34, so you go under 40. And they, it's the turnovers that get you over, or the punt return or something. So you got to be a little careful here. Cincinnati at Buffalo. Buffalo 5.5, 53. We've got not bad weather, like 25 degrees, I think I said. Let's write it down. Yeah, 25 degrees. So I'm going to write that here. And really it's not bad for Buffalo. So I don't think that's going to really affect this. Like if it's really cold, well, even the ice ball was 16 degrees below zero in Green Bay. And they still played, it was 17-14. They still got 31 and it was 16 below. So you will get some points. Even if it's freezing, it's the win games that you don't score because you can't do anything with the ball. You can't kick, or if there's a lot of snow, but you're not getting that here at this point. So again, Joe Burrow, you got to take him as a dog 99% of the time. And then the total, this should be high scoring because it's Joe Burrow. So Buffalo plays much better at home, scores a lot more. So 52 is what, 28, 24, it's 52. I can't believe this game doesn't get in the third, especially with Cincinnati's defense. They got a 33 defense, so Buffalo will score, but Burrow will score. So everything changes now because you can't really look at the Flacco stats as much. You got to look more at the Burrow. Now they might get T. Higgins back. He had a concussion. You got Chase, you got Burrow, and that's 99% of it. So look for this to be a lot of points. And Cincinnati, very live dog. I mean, they just went into Baltimore and kicked the shit out of them. So there you go. Seattle goes to Atlanta. Seattle 7, 44.5. Seattle an 18 with a 15 defense. Again, this is last 5. And again, they beat Minnesota 26-0. So that kind of skews it because Prosmer is terrible. Atlanta, an E team with the 24 defense. They showed that one play when Brosmer's getting sacked, throws the ball to the Seattle guy, and he runs it 90 yards for a touchdown. And you're like, now it was 4th and 1 on the play. And the whole question is, why didn't they kick the field goal? It was 3-0. They got the ball, 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line. Why aren't you kicking the field goal? That would have been the first choice, because you have Brosmer, who is a college quarterback at best, and he wasn't a good college quarterback. Then he scrambles around and then just or throw the ball into the crowd. He throws the ball right to the guy. What is he thinking? This guy, he's as bad as McCarthy. What kind of crap is that? So that, I don't know if it was fixed or the guy was just scared out of his mind. But anyway, so Seattle with the 15 defense and an A team, and Atlanta an E team 24. So they got about a 23-24 offense and a 24 defense. Again, you got our favorite quarterback, Kirk Cousins, who absolutely stinks. He stunk at Michigan State. I didn't understand him being drafted. I don't know how he plays. He's not any good. So, Seattle 12-2 on the road. I'll do our teaser trends right after this. Denver, Oakland. Denver 7.5, 40.5. Oakland, offensive line problems, defense problems. Denver, they always kind of play close games but win. That's Sean Payton. They're a B team with an 18 defense, but Washington put up 26 on them last week in overtime. And this game's at Oakland, so I don't know. There's a stat that you got to understand on Denver. They're 28-2 in a teaser, 12-0 this year. How the hell do you not bet on Denver? And yet they win the game. They won the game for us Monday night, 28-27. We got Denver plus a half. We're fine. Hence why you play teasers, because not every team that wins covers, unfortunately. So, look for them. And Oakland's just really bad. But I think they played that 10-7 game in Denver on Monday Night Football or something. The Rams go to Arizona. Again, we've got the Rams 8 and 48.5. So I wonder why Denver's 7, but the Rams are 8. Like, where did they come up with these? See, it shows you it's all analytics and just taking averages, and we're 5 steps ahead of them. Don't worry. Atlanta an 18 with a 14, or the Rams an 18 with a 14 defense. Don't know where it was in Carolina last week, but I think it was the jet lag and the fact they played Seattle a week or two before. So they get tired. Again, you've got to watch that cross-country stuff. But here they just go to Arizona. Now, they'll be tired, but the fact they lost will get them angry. And Arizona's got a 31 defense, fellas. Chicago, Green Bay. Now, here's where you got 12 degrees. It's Green Bay. The Bears are an outdoor team. It would have really hurt the Lions. They would have a struggle there. Chicago an over team with the 24. Green Bay an under team with the 15 defense. Micah Parsons 6.5, 44.5. That number hasn't moved. The Bears have been. They went to Philly in one. What am I supposed to say here? I think. I want to say that the Bears are a good road dog, but they're not. But again, this is just this year, and they've been a road dog a few times. I can't use last year's because Ben Johnson wasn't there last year. So again, you've got to understand the variables change, and I can't use last year's as a road dog and everything. This year they're much better. It's a must-win game for both teams. And Green Bay is trailing the Bears, so they need to win. And the Bears probably don't need to win as much as Green Bay does, but still hate them. Ben Johnson's come out and says, I hate Green Bay, and wants to beat them. Yeah, Green Bay's 15 defense. So this is really confusing me. At first, I like the game over because the Bears 24 defense, Green Bay 15 defense. The Bears are more of an over team. They score a lot, but You're running into Micah Parsons. I don't know if you're going to be able to run for 250 yards like you did against the Eagles, although that was impressive going against Jalen Carter. So I don't know, but Micah Parsons will be all over. It's 12 degrees. Caleb's not going to be throwing the ball all over the place. And Jordan Love, there's only so much you can do in 12. I think the game gets into the 30s. I don't know. At 44 and a half, you can go over 38 and a half. It's pretty tempting in this game because the Bears do score a lot and Green Bay can score a lot. But this is where the 12 degrees comes in. Maybe you take the dog, the Bears, in 12 and a half, the way they're playing. They're very bettable. And I'm not sure over 38 and a half. So again, it's hard with the weather. What do you do with 12 degrees, right? Houston goes to KC. KC 3.5, 42. We've got Houston, the under team with a 19 defense, strong defense, and KC, an even team with a 21 defense. Here's another fact. In a teaser, Houston 12-0 this year. So you can just go ahead and bet Denver, Houston in a lock, and there you go. And the odds on winning it are probably 99%. Houston 28-3 in a teaser. So we have Denver 28-2 in a teaser the last 2 years, and Houston 28-3 in a teaser. Houston, they both have very strong defenses, so a little hint there. KC's not blowing you out. They don't have a running game. They're going to get pressure from this Houston defense. KC barely beat Indy at home. They lost to Jacksonville, and last week they lost to Dallas. So this is not your prime, they're the A team, Kansas City. Actually, they're an E team. They're not scoring that much. I think Houston's a very live dog here and always the under because it's a Houston game. And KC carries a strong defense also. And then our last game, Philly at the Rams. Philly 3-40.5. The line hasn't moved. Philly is an under team now, last 5. They score nothing and they give up 18 a game. And San Diego is a B team and they give up 18 a game. Is Herbert playing? I don't know. This is a prime under game in my mind. Philly will bring its defense, and Jalen Hurts couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Jalen Hurts is turning into Lamar. He's going down to the depths of Lamar. Both 18 defenses. And I'll tell you, play against Philadelphia this year in a teaser, 11-1. So if you bet against Philadelphia every week, you're 11-1. That tells you everything you need to know about the team, right? If they're not covering, they're in trouble. So they're 8-4, and yet I don't know if you bet on them if they covered 8 times. All right, overall teacher trends. These 3 teams are the best, and I've already mentioned them. Denver, Houston, New England, who's off this week, and Tampa Bay. Those are your 4, and these are like over 85%. I don't fuck with 75%, 85. Play against teams. New Orleans, the Giants, Philly, Arizona, the Jets's, and Tennessee. So New Orleans is at Tampa. The Giants, I think, are off this week. Philly, we just said, at San Diego. Arizona gets the Rams. The Jets are home to Miami, but I'm not betting Miami as a road favorite. And then Tennessee's on the road, but they're playing Prime Junior, so hard to bet on Cleveland. But that's where we're at. Now let's look at teasers directly to the game. Dallas 8-2 is a road dog. Detroit not over 80% as a home favorite anymore. Losing too many games. Play against Pitt. on the road 6-0. They're a 6-point dog to Baltimore, so you can take Baltimore even if we trust Lamar, which we don't. Jacksonville, Indy. Jacksonville 6-0 as a home dog in the last year or two. New Orleans, Tampa. Tampa 25-5 in a teaser. Play against New Orleans as a road dog 10-1, and you got New Orleans as a road dog, right? They're on the road. They're getting 8. So if you go Tampa -2 plus Tampa's 25-5, the Baker's hurt, but he's playing. It's his left arm. Just a lot of injuries to Tampa, but it's New Orleans. Tyler Shaw, and where do they get these guys from? Miami and the Jets play against the Jets is 25-4. That includes last year, but they're about the same team. They suck this year and they suck last year, and they'll suck next year. And this coach is not the answer. He's in way over his head, this coach. Tennessee, Cleveland play against Tennessee 25-4. That's the last 2 years. Again, it's hard to use last year's because Cam Ward wasn't there. And you had Davis Mills or whatever, and now it's just as bad with Cam Ward. Tennessee's a joke. And, I mean, if you couldn't win with Vrabel, who you can see is winning at New England, again, their schedule is crap also. I don't know what the NFL is doing. These schedules they're overboard. KC has to play all the hard teams, as does Philly and Baltimore and Buffalo, and then you got teams like Jacksonville and Washington and New Orleans, and they play all the shit teams. I don't know, but we got Miami at the Jets. It has to happen. They're in the same division, but play against them 25-4. No trend. Washington, Minnesota, probably because Daniels has been in and out and not the same. With Daniels, it's probably better, but we'll see if we get him. Tennessee goes to Cleveland, play against we just talked that. Cincinnati, Buffalo, play against Cincy as a road dog 7-1. Play against Buffalo as a home favorite 4-0. Buffalo is 11-2 as a home favorite. Buffalo plays very well at home, used to the wind, used to off the lake and the weather. Although here it'll be 25 degrees, not a thing. Cincinnati's not a real good road dog, but how many of that is with Joe Burrow and without Joe Burrow? With Joe Burrow, they're probably a very strong road dog if I just dissected the Joe Burrow games. He's got the team, they looked really sharp last week, blowing out Baltimore, right? Their defense started to play a little better. I still think this is an over, but it's hard to pass up Joe Burrow getting 12 points. Come on. Seattle is 12-2 on the road against Atlanta. They're laying 7, so they're in a good spot. Denver 28-2 in a teaser, as I said. 5-0 is a road favorite. 12-0 this year. They played 12 games. They covered all 12. Play against Oakland as a home dog is 8-1, which probably goes this year and last. Maybe not. Yeah, probably does. The Rams, 26-5 in a teaser. 8-1 is a road favorite, which you have. They were 8-0 until they went to Carolina. 6-1 is a play against home dog is Arizona. Arizona is 6-1 as a home dog, 6-1 play against. So they played close games at home. Play against Arizona this year, 11-1. So this is a Ram trend. Green Bay, Chicago. Green Bay is 11-2 as a home favorite. Houston, 9-0 as a road dog. 28-3 overall. The last 2 years, 12-0 this year. So they were 11-3 last year in a teaser. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, because 12. Oh no, they were 16-3 in a teaser. Yeah, that makes sense. It's 28-3. So 16-3 last year, and then 12-0. KC 13-1 as a home favorite. So KC plays well at home. Houston plays well also. So this should be a teaser game. And Philadelphia. Play against Philadelphia is 11-1 this year. Play against them as a road favorite 5-0. So this is a San Diego play. If Herbert Herbert broke his hand. Aaron Rodgers broke the left hand. The Baker hurt his left shoulder. I thought there was one other guy that hurt his hand. A lot of like breaking their left hands and wrists. Seems kind of weird. So that's the NFL. Free play, take Dallas over Detroit tomorrow. I feel real confident in that one. Dallas is playing excellent. Detroit has no secondary. They're not going to be able to stop whatchamacallit and CD Lamb. I can see the guy. I can't name him. I want to say Prescott. It's not him. Anyway, those receivers are going to be too much for the Lions secondary. Lions are in big trouble with their offensive line coming against this Dallas defensive front that just shut out Philly for 3 quarters and then really gave Green Bay a problem. Actually, Kansas City, but not too bad. It was 31-28, but Dallas really, controlled the game there. So we will see. But that's your free play, and now let's go to the college. And now I've updated that. I think I'm working on last 5 on that because I put in the total, but let's look at the last 5. Well, Lane Kiffin keeps pissing off people. 5-star quarterback going to Georgia is now going to Vanderbilt because it's Daggio, but he's no Daggio. Daggio is special. North Texas hires former West Virginia Troy coach Neil Brown to replace their coach got hired. North Texas is by somebody, I don't remember who, but I think he's going to coach like in this game, and I'm not sure about if they go to the next level. All right. Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State. Kennesaw State -1.5 and 59. Kennesaw State's the B team. They give up 25 a game. Jacksonville State's an over team, which gives up 26, which leads me to thinking this could be an over game. Total of 59. I need 53. I need a 28-24. I got a feeling this will go much higher. I think when you get into these games, it tends to be a little more high scoring for these other teams because it's like, well, we got to try everything. We're going to try our trick plays. We're going to do this. We're going on 4th down. So it leads to more scoring. Troy, James Madison, 23.5, 47.5. Troy, an E team with the 23 defense, and James Madison's the A team. Very strong team, 16. That one, we got Vegas and Boise. We got Boise 3.5, 58.5. Vegas, an over team with the 28 defense. Boise, a B team with the 23. I would think there'll be points in that. This is what I'm talking. This game will be very high scoring. North Texas, Tulane. North Texas. The game's in Tulane. Tulane is number 20, and North Texas is favored. Go figure that one out. North Texas 2.5, 66.5. North Texas is, I think, better than Tulane. BYU goes to Texas Tech. Good luck. Texas Tech 12.5, 49.5. Now this game, I think this is more of an under. Both teams are 8 teams. BYU with a 17 defense. Texas Tech an 11. Even against Utah, BYU played them 24-21. Texas Tech played BYU 26-9 or 7 or something. Just don't fuck with Texas Tech. Miami of Ohio, Western. Miami of Ohio, an E team with a 21 defense. Western, an under team with an 18. The total on this spread's 2.5, 43.5. I think they played to a 43 earlier. But I think it's an under game. Georgia and Alabama. Georgia 2.5, 47.5. Line hasn't moved. Both teams are 8 teams with 16 defenses. I think this is going to be. I think this is play the dog, and I think this is over. Even though they got the defense, we've seen Georgia put up 35 on Texas, put up a 40 on Ole Miss, Alabama 24-20 with Oklahoma, 27-20 with Auburn, who had a good defense. They're still playing in the mid-40s. We only need 41. I can't imagine this game is not going to be 10-7. Georgia doesn't have that defense, and neither does Alabama. So I think you're going to see points. I think Alabama, I'm reading, they're like do or die. If they don't win, they're in trouble because they'll have 3 losses where Georgia can lose. So Alabama's going to do everything. So we will see. They've already played. Alabama won 24-21 because Kirby Smart didn't kick a fucking field goal. All right. Indiana, Ohio State. Ohio State 4.5, 48.5. Both teams are 8 teams. Indy is on 11 defense. Ohio State 7. I just watched the Oregon replay, the Indy at Oregon replay, and concluded that Indy with a fairly strong defense, good running attack, a short passing attack. They don't do these like Alabama hits the guy, or Ohio State, they throw these 40-yard passes. I don't see Indiana doing that. It's very much ball control, first down passes. All right, well, we need 5, and the guy gets 10-yard gain, and they methodically just beat it down on you. Scoring 30 at Oregon's impressive. And they really held Oregon to 13 because 7 came on a pick 6. So with that said, it's a very difficult game because Indiana 10.5 a good play? Probably. Is Ohio State 1.5 a good play? Probably. But I think the best play here is under 48-54. You ain't getting 54 in this game. Murderous defenses. Ohio State's great. Like Indiana's going to struggle running the ball on them, but they're going to keep doing it. And Ohio State's going to struggle on moving on Indiana. So I think 48. I think it's a little too big of a number. But let's give that as our free play. Let's go under in Ohio State, Indiana as your free play. A 7 defense and 11 defense. You're not scoring 60 points in this game. In the teaser, it's 54.5. So Dallas, Ohio State under, go to the gold store. Duke and Virginia, our last game, Virginia 3.5, 57.5. That number hasn't moved. Duke's an over team with the 29. Virginia's an A team with Chandler Morris, our North Texas quarterback, with the 20 defense. Games in Charlotte, which isn't really a factor here. Virginia beat them pretty good in the regular season. And I think they're going to, I think at worst case, they win the game. You're 3.5, you get 2.5. See, now I disagree. People will go, oh, you can't play a teaser from 3.5 to 2.5. You can't cross 0. You don't get the full 6 points. And my response is that's bullshit. It's not about, this is not about getting to a plus 3.5. This is about not laying 3.5. All right. So in the teaser world, we don't want to, like in the regular world, Virginia's 3.5. Well, we don't like the half, right? Although I don't think it'll matter in this game. But getting 2.5 gets us off of lane 3.5. It gets us off that number down to plus 2.5. If they lose, we could still easily win because believe me, they're not going to win by a lot. Virginia's a very good team with a very good quarterback. So, what did I eat? With a very good quarter, they're not going to get blown out. And they buried them in the first game. So the premise here is I think Virginia wins. Maybe they win by a field goal, but probably win by more. So what you're doing in this teaser is avoiding the 3.5. The fact we get 2.5 is just gravy. It's getting rid of the 3.5. And that's the point of it. And we still get to it. So we can still win if they lose, which is highly unlikely. God, quit calling me. All these calls and it's spam and we're calling you about this and that. Oh no. So anyway, understand that we're not trying to get over 3.5 in a teaser, right? We're trying to get away from laying the 3.5. So plus 2.5 is fine. The line's low. There probably should be 7-point favorites, Virginia. They're much better than Duke. Duke's 7-5. Virginia's 10-2. So this line should be 7. It's only 3.5, and we get 2.5. So it's like a 10-point teaser. So that's how I look at it. As far as over under, I bet it over the first time, and I didn't get there. Virginia dominated them, and I expect the same. Duke sometimes doesn't show up. Virginia, they had Virginia Tech last week. We had it in 2 teasers, -7 to -1. And they won by 27-7, I think. So they can play where it doesn't necessarily go over. They got a good defense. They got a 20 defense. So in this world, Virginia goes to Duke. Duke with the 29 defense. Virginia to move the ball. Great quarterback. Probably a first-round pick. He should be. And he was great at North Texas last year. So we'll keep an eye on where the North Texas coach goes. They'll be an over team, but Vegas won't be on to them for weeks. So again, that's where we're 5 moves ahead. We see there's like we hit the iceberg. We know it's going to sink. Get to the lifeboat. We see this guy is a great offensive mind, and he goes to a new job, and it's going to be an over. We can see because he's there. You can still look at Mike Vrabel. All of a sudden, New England. Now, not that they're good, but again, it's the easy schedule. So you got to look at that. So that's your college wrap up. I'm not aware of injuries as much as we are in the pros. They just don't get talked about. Covers.com has been very bad at updating us with the injuries or showing all these other people. So I think we know we'll try to listen for injuries in college. The Ohio State receiver played last week against Michigan. I don't know how healthy he was, but they played. Actually, we hope they don't play because if we take if we're going under, we don't want them to play. And in the Dallas-Detroit, we're just looking at St. Thomas, the receiver, if he plays. Although I don't think it's going to – I mean, he's got a sore ankle, and if he's day-to-day and they don't think he's going to play, how good is his ankle? So are we really worried about him? He'll just go out and be a decoy. Like I said, I would keep a cornerback back on Williamson. And when he does his little go up and cut across the middle, and then, he's running away and Golf throws it to him, I'd have a cornerback waiting, keeping an eye on that play and then picking it. Anyway, so that is football. Let me show you this video. You'll get a kick out of it. It's called Top 10 Rigged NFL Plays Week 13 by Jake the Awake. It's pretty good. I mean, these plays, like he shows the Baltimore guy dropping the ball going into the end zone. And we always thought that Deshaun Jackson Philadelphia, when he would cross the goal line and let go of the ball, we wondered, how stupid is this guy? Now we go, it was fixed. He did it on purpose, dropping the ball at the goal line. So there was a lot of bullshit, a lot of players not tackling. Now, it might not be fixed. They just might not, they don't want to tackle. And this is what you get. You get guys who are there for the paycheck. And they don't want to get hurt because they don't want to play. They just want to get paid. Anyway, so keep that in mind. But he does it for each week. I'm not going to waste our time there. And you can see I was watching the Indiana, Ohio, Oregon game. 17 minutes. It shows you the game pretty good. I think I showed you this one yesterday, but we'll review it. Gold versus Bitcoin by
many investors see Bitcoin as an alternative to gold or to silver. But, when Bitcoin enthusiasts, many investors see Bitcoin as an alternative to gold or to silver. But, when Bitcoin enthusiasts promote Bitcoin, they show a gold coin, which is a Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin is not physical at all. It's an electronic entry on a computer or on a memory stick. And if you look at silver is now in a position of massive shortages because demand is higher than ever when it comes to industrial use such as solar panels, electric batteries, electrical and electronic products. And actually, use of silver has gone from 10% of production to 50% the use of silver for industrial production. So therefore, we're now looking at shortages of 200,000 ounces a year. And that, just like paper silver cannot replace that industrial demand. You cannot put paper silver in a car battery, just as you can't put a Bitcoin in a car battery or in any other physical product. So this is now a question of real demand, investment demand, plus, of course, industrial demand. That combined picture will actually make silver go up in the next year and many years by multiples. At the same time, we're seeing Bitcoin coming down by major percentages. We have never understood the use of Bitcoin for wealth preservation purposes. It just isn't wealth preservation. It's a speculative investment and is done very well for many people. We fear, as we have said for many years, that Bitcoin, yes, it could go to $1 million, but it could also go to zero. For us, that is not a good investment from a wealth preservation point of view. We rather have a real physical product, not fake physical product that is shown in pictures, but actually Bitcoin, as I said, is just an electronic entry. At the end of a monetary era that we're approaching now, it's extremely important to hold a physical product, which is, of course, physical gold and physical silver, and store it in private vaults outside the banking system in safe jurisdictions. So definitely, for the next few years, I really prefer gold and silver to cryptocurrencies, which might survive. But let me know in 5,000 years, please, if actually Bitcoin is still there. Silver and gold will be there, that's for certain. Thank you.
See, and that's the point of holding physical, as I say. Nobody can take this from you. Nobody can say, oh, your real estate trust is worthless. They're going to tell you your dollar's worthless. They're going to say, gosh darn it, you're right. This is monopoly. We've overprinted. It's worthless. They'll never say this is worthless. If this is in the bank, you got 100 grand in there. It's not worth anything. If you got it in stocks, you got it in, Microsoft. Well, good luck getting the money out. They're not going to give it to you. If it's in a real estate trust, you're making money on it, but until it crashes, or even if it doesn't, you can't, the money's worthless because everything's in money. Bitcoin's in money. They'll take it away. They'll delete it.
Like an ordinary hiking
Shut the fuck up. They'll delete it. And that's the point. They'll delete your real estate trust, as we saw in all those movies and The Big Short and everything. This they can't. And the demand's worldwide. I mean, it's Russia and China playing, and India and Saudi Arabia, Brazil, all those teams wanting gold. So that makes your gold worth more. Now, in our end, the central banks are buying it, but in our case, we're just buying ounces here, 10 ounces here, 5 ounces there. We're buying 100 ounces of silver here and there. So for our world, that's what we're not billionaires. We can't buy all these bars except for profit margin. He's getting that on an inheritance, but that's where you're at with it. No, what do they want? Yeah, I got 4 days. My phone wants me to renew it. So that's why we want to hold this. Because nobody could say it's worthless and nobody could take it from us. They're not coming door to door to take it. As far as they know, their game is the dollar. Their game is Bitcoin. Their game is treasuries that are worthless. They'll go after the stock market. That's where they'll really go after, is screwing everybody on their stocks and the Bitcoin. Those are the two things where most people are in, and that's what they're going to attack. There's no point in attacking gold. There's not, there's not anything really there, right? Gold doesn't really, most of it's in Russia, China, India, but how much is really here to go after? And, and you don't have any in your Fort Knox. So that's the thing. All right. So let's see. I guess this war is really leaking over into London. Russia's targeting London because London keeps feeding the war and interfering. So, London and the U.S. So they're targeting London with, I guess, nuclear weapons, or maybe not nuclear, but this new big missile that goes really fast. And so he was talking about that. Let's see. So this guy's talking, the world just ran out of silver. We didn't run out of silver. So let's get that straight. We're not running out of silver because, like, I have my ounces. You have your ounces. We know Luke's got 4 or 5 boxes of it, right? So it's not run out. It's just the new one is out, and we don't want to give up our silver at these ridiculously low prices of $58, $59. So it's basically the market. It's under market. So the real price of silver in my mind is $1,000 an ounce. That's the real physical price should be. And for $50, I'll buy it and laugh. I mean, I go in there and I laugh and sing and dance when I'll buy 20 ounces and run out the door, and I'm in a full dance mood. Thank you for selling this $1,000 ounce for $40. Thank you very much. And so you do that. And if somebody wants to buy it from me, I'm not giving it away at $50. At $1,000, I might give a couple ounces. So it's not gone. It's just all been bought up. But if the price goes up, then it'll come back out. So it's still there. It's just good luck finding. Everybody owns it. So nobody, it's hard to find, but it's not gone. This is misleading. The world did not run out of silver. It's still there. It's in the vaults in China and Russia and India. And, so it's not gone. It's just the supply is out at this price. And so when the price goes up, you'll see supply. Now, my guy still had it in his store. He still had some silver ounce, the bullion. He still had eagles. So he still has supply of silver at his store. What they're doing is, now just an FYI, if you have silverware or jewelry that you want to sell and you want to get, you want to eat or pay bills, and you see silver rising to 58, and you're all excited going, oh, it's at its all-time high. That's bullshit. It's not at its all-time high. It's at its all-time paper high, not physical high. And so therefore, all right, you're going to sell it. But now you're not getting as much for it, or the junk silver, because the refiners are so backlogged with everybody selling their jewelry and their silverware for money that they're way behind in capacity to refine it. So now your regular silver, you're fine because they're not going to refine it. If I give it to my guy, he's going to sell it. But for the refine, you're not going to, like, I sold my ring for a half ounce of gold, right? I had a gold wedding ring, sell it, got a half ounce of gold for it. But they take the jewelry to the refiner to melt it down to make more coins with it. So that's why silver, you get sterling silver, silverware, or jewelry, they want to turn it into coins. So that's what the refiner does. And therefore it's a big backup for that. So if you have that and you're trying to sell it, you're not going to get the best price for it right now. My advice is hold it if possible, because of these prices. It's a joke. I mean, it'll be 500. Maybe at 500 start selling some, but not now, unless you have to. Everybody has different needs and wants. And if you need money and you have silver, you take 50, but you much prefer waiting till it goes to 500 to sell it. So the longer you can delay selling it, the more you're making. Although it's an oxymoron because the dollar loses value. So if you do get 500 an ounce for the silver and you get the 500, you go to the grocery store, you're probably not going to fill your cart with the 500 as it keeps losing value. So that's the beauty of silver and gold. It goes up more than the dollar goes down, I'm sure. But again, the marketplace works funny because you can only put a stake out for $20 if there's buyers. If there's no buyers, you can't sell it for 20. And that's what I keep saying. So with that, you have, when's my appointment? Oh, Friday. Okay. So with that, that's what you got to look at. It's all relative, right? So the gold goes up, but it's what the gold will buy, right? So when 2 ounces buys the house, then you can see why you have gold versus the dollar, which is basically worthless. Anyway, so because of the silverware and all flooding in, because silver's now over 50, and people are scared, they think, oh, it's going to go back down to 10. It's not. It's going up to 1,000, not down to 10. So as silver keeps going, people with the silverware and the jewelry are running to get rid of it before the price drops. Little do they know, they're idiots. They don't know the price is not going to drop. It's going up. It's called BRICS. It's called China and Russia and India and Saudi Arabia buying all the gold and silver up. And they're not buying it for solar panels. They're buying it because it's money. And as the dollars go out and lose their value, silver goes up because silver is money. I hate when they go, well, it's the other use. That's bullshit. It's not the use. It's not so you can make solar panels and Tomahawk missiles. I mean, what kind of crap is that? That is not why silver is going up. It's going up because it's money. It's going up because the dollar's worthless, the same as why gold's going up. All right. Let's see what other. I mean, most of these videos I can't watch because I already understand. Oh, and the CPI's up, or the world ran out of silver. No, it didn't run out of silver. We talked about socialists yesterday, where they take a little thing and try to call socialists, that it's good and it's bad. Don't get and ever fall into that trap. You never want the government running things. You want us running things. You want the market running things because we're competing and we need to make the product better and cheaper and smarter. And therefore, the government gets involved and it fucks everything up as it's always has. So the real smart countries have capitalistic tendencies for most of it. They have maybe socialized healthcare because they feel everybody needs healthcare, but the most of their economy is free market. Adam Smith. I see this. I don't get it. They're firing everyone, sending silver to 100. What does that mean? Firing people does not move the market on silver. Silver market goes because people got to get out of the dollar to buy silver because they want to get to the lifeboat. I don't know what mass layoffs, record officers, and the coming silver shockwave. That whole thing, I just don't understand it. I mean, because again, this is hard for me because these people are such idiots that it's hard for me to watch because I know it's just they're full of shit and they're just saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. Andy Scheckman, especially. Like I said, if you get a chance to listen to this girl, she's very good. It's not your normal violin because they do like here obladi oblada, and she does stuff with Van Halen or these other rock things, and she can go right along with them. So it's a very very clever girl. This one I don't understand. Why empires collapse when silver runs out? I've never heard that in my life. Empires collapse because of inflation, not because silver running out. I don't know where they get this concept or why, but it's not real. You collapse because you print your money to death, period. It's called inflation. The Romans did it, the French, the English, everybody else. Everybody who's ever went out had money not backed by gold and printed it to death. Usually they have wars to try to get it back. So that's, I think, why the U.S. is in 82 wars, is to try to steal gold and oil and commodities to try to get back, but you're so far in debt. And you can't just ignore the debt. You owe China, let's say you owe China $1 trillion. You can't just ignore it. They're not going to just say, oh, yeah, just don't pay us. Yeah, no, you can't do that. You've got to pay your debt off. Let's see. And a lot of football. So Bitcoin crashes, silver soars. They're just looking at the combination of it. They are totally related. They have nothing to do with the other. They're just two. It's like a Mantle card and a Willie Mays card. They have nothing to do with each other. They're just two different cards. They're two different markets. So what happens in Bitcoin is has nothing to do with gold and silver. It's got nothing to do with money. Gold and silver really have nothing to do. Excuse me. Gold and silver have nothing to do with the dollar. They'll say it, but it's not true. People, it's a market like Canadian Club, like buying steaks, chicken, buying a Van Gogh, buying a Rolex. They have nothing to do with the dollar. The dollar is printed to zero, is by the Fed. It's got nothing to do what gold does, has nothing to do with the dollar. People lose confidence in the dollar. Well, you've got these people so brainwashed that it's going to be hard for them to lose confidence in the dollar. However, the Europeans and the foreigners have lost confidence in the dollars. And you're starting to see them pull their money out of the stock market. But all the U.S. does is print this bullshit money and put it in the stock market. It's not being controlled by the market. It's the Fed printing money, putting it in the stock market to say, look, the stock market's good. Our economy's good. So they're just lying to everybody that the economy's good. And we know that's far from it. They want you in the stock market, so that's where they make their money, but the money's worthless, so it really doesn't matter. So we are smarter than the average bears, and we buy this because we know we're going to make more money in this and keep the money than you're going to make in the stock market. Let's say you made 10,000 in the stock market. Gold, if you bought gold in January and now we're in December, you would have made over $100,000 in gold. If you bought, like, let's say you bought 75, 100 ounces, it's gone up like $1,600 per ounce. So, it's like shares. You're not buying one share of Disney, you're buying 100 shares. So it's gone up far more than that. And again, but it's real, and I don't have to worry about getting my money back or anything like that. Like I said, I run to the gold store, say, here's a gold coin. I get 97% back at this point. As it becomes really, really tight, he'll start giving me spot for it because he'll need the gold. He won't be able to get it. And I have some, so I can say, well, I'll give it to you at spot, and off it goes. But this is real. You have it. If you're in the stocks or real estate trust, you easily can get fucked over by them not allowing you to have it, or like an attack on Wall Street. He lost it because they delisted his real estate trust. The real estate trust was, like, let's say 100 mortgages from other people who are in a 30-year mortgage, and they're paying 8% on their mortgage. Let's just say. And so the bank says, well, I'll give you 6% if you get into a real estate trust. If I got 100 mortgages, I'm getting 8%, I'll give you 6%. So you get a higher return on your money. So the guy does it with 60 grand, but then the 100 people stop paying. And if they don't pay in because they're broke, or, they bought 5 houses or whatever, then they're not going to keep paying Attack on Wall Street guy, because they need the people to pay their mortgages to pay Attack on Wall Street guy. He doesn't get paid. They delist it because they're going to lose billions of dollars on these real estate, because they sold it to 10 million people, because everybody got in thinking, well, it's a mortgage, that's going to be good, and it's at Morgan Stanley or whatever the hell else the Home Alone guy was at, and that's the problem. I hope I just didn't lose. I apologize, and I'll come back. Okay, no, I'm okay. All right. So that's really what it's about. So they screw you because they no longer are getting the mortgages in to pay you out. And that's what the problem with the banks are in China. I showed you there was problems getting the money out of the bank from all the Chinese, because Evergrande had big loans with the bank and defaulted on them. Well, the bank needs the Evergrande loan money to come in. So they loan them the money, so they owe them the money and payments and the interest to pay all the people who are have deposits in the bank. Well, if the bank stops getting the money in, they're not going to pay the people. And that's what happens in China, and it's going to happen here. And all these banks that loan money out to people for mortgages and cars and real estate and big building, the office buildings, they're not going to get paid back. So there won't be money for you, and they're going to say, fuck you. However, in gold, we've got it already. We're fine. We already have the gold, so we don't worry about that. We don't worry about the stock market crashing. We don't worry about the dollar not getting it out of the bank, or our stocks not being able to get them, and the stocks going to zero anyway because it'll be worthless. So that's how a bank works. So in Attack on Wall Street, they weren't paying their mortgages, so they didn't pay our Wall Street guy, and then he basically shot everybody. But you were rooting for him to shoot everybody, because it's not good. You can't take the risk. You got to play it's like losing a football game saying, well, I really didn't mean to play, Baltimore over Cincinnati. I really didn't mean to play it. And therefore you lost it. And then you're trying to say, well, give me my money back. Give me my bet back. But that's the thing. That's why you want to hold the gold and the silver. Now, gold's getting pricey. It's almost 4,300. Don't worry, it'll be 5,000 silver. And a little later, it'll be 10,000. It's going there. There's not a question. It's not a guess. It's not, I'm dividing the money supply by certain. I hate when Jim Rickards does that. What an idiot. Well, I divide how many dollars are out there by how much ounces of gold. I assume the 8,000 tons of gold is there in Fort Knox. Why would you assume that? And so then gold hits 20,000. Well, how the fuck did you think that's going to work? No, A, there's no gold in Fort Knox. B, the BRICS countries are controlling the gold price based on supply and demand. And, this will be 5, this will be 10, this will be 25, this will be 50. The big money will be a year away or two. But this is going to go. And when it goes, it's like the Titanic sinking. It sinks. And everybody frenzies to the lifeboats. And that's what's going to happen here as people realize the dollar, the euro, the yen, the yuan, the ruble are worthless. As they realize that, they get out of it and they go into gold and silver. And I don't know the laws in Russia and China as far as that. We know Pat from Singapore comes on and he reports, and he says, well, it's a 6-hour line to go into a gold store in Singapore and buy it. So it's there, but I don't know how much. So again, as the price goes up, the gold doesn't go anywhere. I mean, I own mine and you own yours, and we have it, but we didn't do anything with it. It's still there, and it'll come out when you give us the right price for it. And in my world, the right price is 10,000. And I'm not even worried that it'll hit 10,000. And I'm not going to sell all of it. This is not being bought to sell it. So it's being bought to keep value of the gold, to keep up with all the prices dropping because of the money being worthless. It's really the money being worthless is why the prices appear to be going up, but the market controls the price. Like I say at the barbecue restaurant, you can't sell the ribs for $45 a slab because there's no buyers for it. He has to sell it at the market. So you always have to be conscious of the market. All right. Anyway, let's see. So silver's just going. See, I don't like this title. This David Morgan. 99% of people will lose their gold and silver. It's a very bad title. It's very misleading. What he's trying to say is people will profit take. So the real title should be don't profit take your gold and silver. So what he's saying is, okay, let's say gold goes to 5,000. And then he thinks everybody's going to sell it at the 5,000. And that's how you're going to lose your gold, is by selling it. Or silver, let's say silver hits 100 and people have been buying it at 30 and 40, and they're going to profit take. They're going to sell it at 100. And then that's what he's trying to say. But it's a terrible, misleading title. I gave him a negative on it. It's like, dude, what the fuck? I explained to you very simply, this is you're not profit take. If you got 100 ounces of gold, maybe sell 1 or 2 of them. You're not going to sell 100 ounces. I won't let you sell 100 ounces of gold at 10,000. You got to be kidding me. It's not a profit taking thing. This is not a stock where you bought it at 50 and it's at 100. Okay, I'm going to take my profit. Because we don't know what the total value is. It's much higher. So if you bought silver at 50 and now it's 100, you're not selling it because it's nowhere near where it's headed. It's going to 1,000, even at 1,000. All right, sell 5-6 ounces, whatever, and see what that buys you. Will that buy you a full grocery cart at the grocery store and a nice meal or not? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I think it will. I think when silver hits $1,000 an ounce, I think you still will live pretty nicely. And when gold hits 10,000 an ounce, I think you'll live pretty nicely. But again, if you have 100 ounces of gold, you're not selling 100 and profit taking. You're selling 3 or 4 and enjoying, whatever. But you're not selling the full 100. Now, what should happen is they should come out with a new dollar gold back to heal the economy. But these people are too stupid. I don't see them doing that, and I don't know what they're going to do as far as a medium of exchange. So that's what worries me. What is the new medium of exchange? Because the dollar is obviously worthless. But that was a very misleading. This guy, Bitcoin, $84,000 collapse was not an accident. Well, nobody said it was, but it was all price fixed. Petrodollar collapse. Well, we know the petrodollar collapsed. Saudi Arabia would only take dollars for oil, so you had to buy dollars if you're a different country. That's not the case anymore. Saudi Arabia will sell to anybody, and therefore the dollars just printed too much. Anyway, that's about it. I showed you the cholesterol one. There's a cancer one by Barbara O'Neill. Our guy Sten, the Stenner, talks about cancer too. The key is just it can't live without sugar. So just don't eat sugar and you won't get cancer. And if you do have it, don't eat sugar and the cancer will die. Very simple. China's silver vaults are almost empty. Well, we know that because they keep buying the COMEX real cheap and they use it and they're selling it. Anyway, that's about it. So again, to repeat, free play, Ohio State, Michigan under, Ohio State, Indiana under. And the the way I look at that game, when two strong defenses play each other, it's going to be hard for Ohio State to move, as well as it's going to be hard for Indiana to move. And I look at the Oregon game when Oregon got 20 points, of which 7 was a pick six. So they held a good Oregon offense at Oregon to 13, and they hold most teams down. And so they're a very good team, pretty good defense. I think Ohio State wins like 20-17 or 24-20 or something like that. I just think the game's in Indy. I just think Ohio State wins, but I could be wrong. But I do think it's the under. And then the other under, Dallas, Detroit under. There. Let's take our last look at gold and silver for the day. So gold took its little, the 10 o'clock, and it went up 20 cents, no, $20, 42.12 to 42.28. I told you that. As it starts going down, I sell, and then it went all the way down to 4,200, and now it's back to 42.11. So a lot of shady stuff going on there. Why did it go up to 42.37 and then down to 4,200? But in the meantime, people are buying. So you had all this buying here at 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and then all this selling by the U.S. after. Like, what the fuck's going on? So this is all manipulation. It's all bullshit. Silver, 58.44. Let's see. We should hit 60 by Friday. Today's Wednesday now. I always lose track. Monday is Monday Night Football, and then Tuesday and Wednesday are the same. And then the Thursday night game says, oh, it's Thursday. And then it's Friday and the weekend. So time each day kind of feels funny, but Wednesdays really have no feel. There's no games on. All right. So that's it. So we'll keep an eye on the injury. Really, it's St. Thomas on the Lions, the receiver. So he's banged up. He's got a low ankle sprain. So how effective is a receiver who needs to run the whole game going to be with a bad ankle? So they might leave him out. to play for give them another week and a half rest to get ready for the Rams. They might play them because they're getting desperate because they're now in third place, and the way the Bears beat Philly, they're not coming back. So I think the winner of the Bears Green Bay game will win the division. They do play each other twice. In 2 weeks, they play again. Great scheduling. And then the Bears play the Lions. The Lions they're going to struggle against the Bears, the Rams, Dallas, Pittsburgh. No, Pittsburgh's not good. The Lions I don't think they'll make the playoff now because they're in third place, right? They're not going to win a division. Green Bay just beat them twice, so they really have a 3-game lead on them. And you got the Rams in Seattle. You got Philly. Dallas is coming up. If Dallas wins this game, then they have a huge edge over the Lions because they tied that game. So we will see. Anyway, take Dallas, big game. Take Ohio State under. Those are your free plays. I'll probably have a couple of locks in here, just eyeballing the games. There's a lot of good ones that we can lock. Trying to figure out the Bear-Packer game. See, people will bet and they go, well, I'm just dropping this game. I'm not going to play this game. There's 4 ways to play the game: the favorite, the dog, the over, and the under. And what I do is figure out which one's the best. And for me, it's very easy. I can do every game if I go through the 4 and figure out one of them. There's usually, even if it's a Z team, okay, I'll take it. Oh, wait, I'm going to go over with it. I'm going to go under with it. It's not hard to pick one of the 4. That's why I never throw out any game. And if you think about it, there's going to be a winner in a teaser. You might win all 4 ways, but in a teaser, either if they're laying 7, they're either going to win by 1 or win with the 13. Something's going to happen. It has to happen. So just figure it out. So people who can't just use these statistical algorithms, and I just laugh at them. It's just so stupid. Anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to make sloppy joes and have a lunch, and it's 12:30. So have a good day, everybody. Questions, comments, please feel free. www.teaserking.com. You can, if you buy the week now, I don't have anything posted yet, but I'll have it posted soon. All right. Have a good day, everybody. I will talk to you tomorrow. www.teaserking.com.